In a small village nestled between two mountains, there lived a young painter named Ilara who could capture breathtaking beauty on canvas but couldn't find any in her own life. Her tiny studio walls were covered with portraits of everyone else's happiness, the farmer's thriving harvest, the baker's joyful wedding, even the fisherman's triumphant catch. Yet every night, Ilara would stare into her cracked mirror and see only lack. Until one stormy evening, an unexpected visitor arrived with no face, no name, and a mysterious blank canvas that would teach Ilara the dangerous art of comparison and the revolutionary secret to breaking free from it forever. Ilara's paint-stained fingers had created masterpieces for everyone in her village except herself. She could capture the light in old Mrs. Henderson's eyes when she spoke of her late husband, the pride in young Liam's shoulders when he mastered his first woodworking project, even the subtle joy in the stray cat's purr when children fed it cream. But when Ilara looked at her own life, she saw only empty spaces. No husband, no extraordinary talents, no dramatic stories worth telling. Her home was a shrine to other people's happiness, and each finished painting left her feeling smaller. The village children loved visiting her studio, their eyes wide with wonder at the colorful scenes. "You're the luckiest person in the world," little Anna whispered once while watching Ilara paint the blacksmith's new baby. "You can create anything you want." Ilara had forced a smile, thinking how wrong the child was. She could create anything except contentment. The turning point came on the first day of winter when a traveling artist arrived in the village square. His paintings were unlike anything Ilara had seen, wild, emotional, and utterly unconcerned with perfection. Crowds gathered around his work, their eyes wide with wonder. That night, Ilara didn't sleep. She paced her studio, comparing her careful, precise technique to the stranger's bold strokes. The next morning, she did something reckless. She bought all new paints, canvases, and brushes, determined to reinvent her art. For weeks, Ilara tried to paint like the stranger. She used brighter colors, wilder compositions, more abstract subjects. But with each attempt, she grew more frustrated. Her paintings looked forced, imitative, and worst of all, dishonest. The village noticed. "What happened to your beautiful style?" Mrs. Henderson asked gently, after seeing Ilara's latest confused creation. Even the children stopped visiting, confused by the unfamiliar art. One rainy afternoon, as Ilara stared at yet another failed painting, she noticed something strange. Her cracked mirror had fogged up from the humidity, except for one clear spot, right at the center. Through that small circle, she could see only her eyes, not her two thin lips, not her ordinary nose, just her eyes. And in that moment, she remembered what her grandmother had told her years ago. We don't see with our eyes, we see with our stories. Suddenly, Ilara understood. She rushed to her storage closet and pulled out every painting she'd ever made, not the finished ones she'd given away, but the practice sketches, the failed attempts, the half-finished ideas. She spread them across her floor and saw something astonishing. Her early drawings were stiff, uncertain. Her middle period showed technical skill but no heart. Her recent attempts were desperate imitations. But scattered throughout were moments of pure magic. A quick sketch of sunlight through leaves, a study of the old bridge's shadows, a portrait of the baker laughing with flour on his nose. These weren't technically perfect, but they were true. That night, Ilara did something radical. She took all her new, expensive canvases and turned them over. She mixed paints not according to any rules, but what felt right, and she painted not what she thought would impress others, but what made her heart feel light. She painted the comfort of her favorite teacup, the funny way her cat slept with its paws in the air, the peace of early morning fog between the mountains. When she finished, dawn was breaking. Exhausted but exhilarated, Ilara looked at her creation, and for the first time, she didn't compare it to anyone else's work. It was simply hers. A week later, the traveling artist visited her studio. He studied her new painting for a long time before speaking. "This," he said softly, "this is what I've been trying to find my whole career." Ilara laughed, realizing the great irony. In stopping her comparison, she had created something truly worth comparing to. Here's the life-changing secret about happiness that nobody tells you. Comparison isn't just the thief of joy, it's the architect of insecurity. When we measure our behind the scenes against everyone else's highlight reel, we're not even comparing reality. We're comparing our whole self to a fragment of someone else's face. Ilara's story isn't about painting. It's about that moment she stopped looking sideways and started looking inward. Your canvas looks different. Maybe it's your career, your relationships, your body, or your lifestyle. But the danger is the same. The moment you stop comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20, you'll discover something astonishing. Happiness wasn't something to achieve, but something to remember. It was there all along, in your unique rhythm, your imperfect progress, your authentic voice, reminding you that the only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. And tonight, when your head hits the pillow, ask yourself one transformative question. What would you create if no one was watching? The answer might just hold your freedom.